Okay, I'm starting this a little... Sorry. Hi, I'm Anthony Brew. You know this already. We're here. We're back. I'm starting this. We're a couple minutes behind. I apologize for that. Had some technical issues, but I wanted you to see this process because I was accused of tomfoolery the other day. So, Michigan's rating, LSU's rating, it's here. I'll explain everything else in a minute. Let me get the rest of this set up. 7-minute quarters. It's a bowl game, so that weather's fine. I need to pick a neutral site. Bear with me for a sec, folks. I just want to make sure everyone sees me set it up. Let's see. Well, what are we going to call this? We'll just call it the Citrus Bowl, huh? How about that? Why not? Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so 8-4 regular season. Blowout win over Ohio State. Absurd. But hey, it happened. I'm not saying these things are canon, but they happened here. So 8-4 regular season, I think a lot of people would take that, given that we've been playing J.J. McCarthy half the year, given that they beat Ohio State. I had you guys, well, I don't know if it was entirely you guys, but I had Maize and Brew Twitter followers, headed to Twitter, and I threw a couple opponents out there. Iowa State was one. If we wanted to do the Matt Campbell Bowl. Auburn was the other one. LSU was the third one. And people wanted to see LSU. These teams have never played before, so for this to play out on the field, here we go. Welcome. Sorry for the little bit of a herky-jerky start there. It's good to see you guys here. It's been a while. It's been an extra day. It hasn't been a while, but this is the end of this series. This is game 13 for us. And then we'll kind of be putting this game on the shelf for a bit as we kick into preseason coverage and things like that. I was at Big Ten Media Days on Thursday for Michigan stuff, so feel free to shoot in some questions, whatever you want. Lewis Gratton is here telling everyone to slam the like button to like and subscribe. We appreciate that. It helps the channel, helps us move up. Logan Evans is here. He is a early access contributor. If you guys missed what that means, Steven Ostentowski put out a video earlier today describing just something that's coming to the YouTube channel. It's separate from the site. Some tiers, some early access stuff for a little extra cheddar cheese, and you can jump in on that or don't. We hope you do. Every little bit counts. It helps. It helps everything. It helps everyone. So, welcome, Logan, and thank you for contributing. I'll say it this way too, and this is not a great way to start this game. The people that have the early access, if I see your name in green, if I see it in, I think maybe blue's the other color, those are the people that we move their questions right to the front of the line. So that's how it works. That's one of the perks of being an early access member. So, Muffin Man, he says, I see the rating this time, but in the last game, Michigan's rating was 92. I'm guessing you might have hit even teams on accident. Now that you say it, that's probably what happened. I'm not going to apologize for it because Michigan beat the shit out of Ohio State. So, I just take that to assume at even strength, Michigan would still win. So. Muffin Man's a Florida State fan, so he has no dog in the fight. This is what we needed, an independent arbiter. Iham is here, welcome. Lewis Gratton, I already said you're here. Joe Kirkland, Blake Gober, I316, Dunedin is here. I get that different every time. Leonard Chartrette here, or Leonard Charette Jr. is here. So welcome. is on the board first today.
Watch two. Mike 18, Mike 18. Let's go.
I want to thank everyone, too, for tuning into this series over the last month or so. These videos have usually been doing about somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 views. And the last one was the biggest one yet. I mean, we had 200 people watching in the fourth quarter live. I'm hearing people say my audio is only coming through the right channel. That's really odd. Let me see if I can... How about now? That should fix it. But what I was saying before is that, we've had 2,000 to 3,000 streams on each of these videos, and it's not lost on me. Like, that's not super impressive in the grand scheme of YouTube things, but we're still a growing channel. We only have a little over 4,200 subscribers, which please subscribe if you're watching right now. We want to have more than that, but there are. I don't want to call anyone out or anything like that, but there are other channels in this Michigan sphere of blogs, of websites, whatever you want to call it, doing interviews with people and talking, sharing clips from interviews or media days or whatever, and without nearly as much traction as what these ridiculous game streams have done. So it speaks to the community we have here, which is awesome. I love it. I love you guys. Wouldn't trade you for anything in the world. It just speaks to the connection that we all kind of made through this website, through this YouTube channel, and all those types of things. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and yeah, we'll see what happens with it moving forward. I know Steven's got a lot of fun stuff planned. I don't know how much I'll be on the YouTube channel. This is kind of Steven's baby with Maize and Brew's backing, but it does mean a lot to me that you guys are here and you take time out of your day. Especially, it's been 4 o'clock every day. We did one on 4th of July that was on a weird time. It does mean a lot, and from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you for being here, and we look forward to all of our socials are in the description below. So continue to engage with us, engage with me, engage with the community on Discord. I think it's a lot of fun over there. So. Now, guys, you know what happened is that on the microphone I have, shout out Samson G-Track Pro. I think it's one of the best budget microphones you can get. There's a mono and 2-track switch on there, and I think just in moving it around, I think I just switched it to 2-track, and it was only coming through the one side. So I'm guessing that's what happened. I mean, that is what happened. So. Lakers 8823. Hi there. Welcome. No spring football game this year. No spring football game. Okay, sorry. I think what he's trying to say is no spring football game this year. Thank God we have the streaming games. That might be part of it, too. I think we're so football starved. Blake Gober. Harbaugh seemed as motivated as ever at media days. Yeah, I talked about that in the Twitter spaces I did last night. I talked about it in the article I wrote earlier today on Maize and Brew. There is a... Jim Harbaugh has always he doesn't have a great poker face. So... prior to 2017, throughout 2017, when they didn't have a great team, the enthusiasm, the fire of the first 2 years wasn't quite there. And I think that changed him a little bit, and that's one of the things that toned him down. But last year he was forthright about the fact that, and this is, everyone had to deal with this, so this isn't him using it as an excuse. This isn't me using it as an excuse. But he played the role of football coach and COVID coach last year. Michigan was pretty stringent with his protocols, and then obviously they had the breakout at the end of the season, and I don't know what led to that. I know that it's a lot harder to all be on the same page when the losses pile up, so maybe someone slipped here, and then that kind of has an effect on, and COVID's still a thing. Cases are rising everywhere right now, so we're still have to be vigilant and things like that. Please, and this is not pushing this on anyone, do the research on the vaccine, talk to doctors, talk to medical people, and make the decision on if it's best for you or not. But please do the research, do the education. Don't sit on your toilet on Reddit or poopshoot.com getting your vaccine information. Talk to people who would know, and make the decision that's best for you. But the decision that was best for me was to get the vaccine, and I hope that people will do that, because I think that's the quickest way out of this thing. But sorry, that's a little PSA there. Certainly you're free to do whatever you'd like, and I don't hold it against anyone who makes their own decision. That's your right to do that. But I think that weighed on him. But I feel like them getting back to a normal schedule, non-conference is back. You had full spring football. You were able to install things with a new staff in place. I think there's a rejuvenation there. And there was a lot of people that transferred out. There's a lot of new blood within the program. I said this back in January. For them to turn this around, it's going to take a massive all-hands-on-deck approach. And I see that with them right now. Now, does that mean they're going to win 9, 10, 11 games? Probably not. I would still probably bet against that. I think this is a 7 or 8 win football team. But to me, the fact that he seems motivated, the fact that there seems to be a plan in place, it's too competent an operation for them to go 4 and 8 or 3 and 9 or 5 and 7. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do see that there. Mike Nape is here. Hello, Mike. He says, I just jumped on. What are your thoughts on Texas and Oklahoma possibly joining the SEC? Any effects from that conference? Any effects from that conference change I might not be thinking of? Well, it's a big deal, and it seems like this has been in the works for a while. These talks have been going on for apparently almost a year through back channels and things like that. And a lot of people, the biggest question they ask is why? Why would they want to do that? What's the reasoning for it? The reasoning behind everything that happens in college sports is money. That's the long and the short of it. Do I think we're heading to a Power 4 conference setup? I do, because if Texas and Oklahoma aren't in the Big 12, the Big 12 is dead. There's no skirting around it. So, in terms of who the Big 10 could possibly add, I don't know if they necessarily need to add anyone. There's always the pressure behind that. Something that people don't talk about is if you add more teams, the payout for the schools from the TV deal is a little bit less. Everyone gets a little bit less of the pie. So is that worth it for them to add a Iowa State or a Kansas or, insert team here? I don't know. The Kansas thing's getting a lot of pushback right now, and I get that, but it would make your basketball conference insanely deep. Iowa State typically has they haven't been good as of late, but they've done some good things basketball-wise recently. It fits the footprint. Kansas football is bad. We get that. We know that. But that doesn't take away from the fact this conference still has Michigan State, Ohio State. Indiana's a rising power. Maryland seems like it has the chance to be something. Rutgers is on the rise. Minnesota is in good hands right now with PJ Fleck. Wisconsin is good. Who am I missing? Iowa. You've got plenty of, bringing in some of those other schools doesn't dilute the brand. I think that where this is headed is, the Big Ten probably does add another school or two. And I almost wonder if you, from a football perspective, if you quote-unquote dilute the brand or whatever you want to call it, those non-conference games need to be a lot better. And I almost wonder if there might be something like they work out a deal with the Pac-12 where their non-conference games are against each other or something like that. I don't know. Would I love for Notre Dame to be in the Big Ten? Yes. And despite the egos there and the vibe of them and everything that they stand for, to add a superpower to your conference, and they have one foot in the door in the ACC. Like, they're not going to join the Big Ten. I'm not sure the Big Ten wants them, which I think is a mistake too. But to have that footprint, I mean, God, just think of you have legitimate superpowers in each division in the Big Ten if you just keep it East-West. That would be the pipe dream. Because I don't want to wait till 2033 to see them Michigan play Notre Dame. They should play that game every year. As Blake Corum rumbles into the end zone and hushes the crowd. All right. Yeah, we'll see. Kevin Warren didn't seem to be ready to discuss that at Media Days on Thursday. This Texas and Oklahoma thing kind of caught everyone off guard. So the idea that no one's really ready to... Kevin Warren isn't on the phone today with programs across the country. Now there's the report that Kansas has reached out to the Big Ten to set up a call. I would expect more than that, and you should take phone calls. Hear what they have to say. Keno Bear is a super fan and just upgraded his membership to exclusive live streams, so we appreciate that. Keno Bear, welcome to the party. Glad to have you here. Dependent fanatic. Muffin Man first says, don't forget Notre Dame is in the Big Ten in hockey. Yeah, I would love for Notre Dame to be in the Big Ten. I say the more superpowers you add, the better. And it's not a Michigan thing. It's a watchability thing. I would rather watch Michigan play crossover games with Notre Dame than Illinois. You know what I mean? Now, it would be funny if they added Iowa State in that. Everyone's kind of going, oh, God, we got to get Matt Campbell in the Big Ten. And then it's like the monkey paw thing. He comes to the Big Ten, and it's with Iowa State.
Here we go.
Let's see. Logan Evans. Special shout out to Logan again. I had to disappear for a sec. Sorry if this was asked already. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh's speech, and more importantly, his final comment, we will beat Ohio or die trying. I'm here for it. And the people, it's the low-hanging fruit for people on social media to be like, wow, I guess they're going to die trying, or, oh, well, I guess we know how this is going to go. But yeah, for years, Michigan has taken we're going to take this one game at a time. We know our rivals, we respect our rivals, but it's just like any other week. And they've kind of not shied away from it, but this is the most brazen that they've talked about that. At least that Jim Harbaugh has. And I think that's fine. I think that signifies he knows, if I'm going to keep this job, I have to beat this team. I have to beat Michigan State. Especially, the guy just got his pay sliced in half. So it's kind of it's an acknowledgement that, yeah, we need to get this figured out. And I know we need to get this figured out. And the pressure's on, and we welcome it, and I'm fine with it. I have no issues with that comment. Jimmy Whitner, what's good, AB? Do you think Kansas joins the Big Ten? I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about it, but if the Big Ten's going to dissolve, those schools have to go somewhere. That's the other thing, too, is this conversation is less about what schools could we add as opposed to, a 10-team conference might be close to dissolving. And those teams have to go somewhere. So it might make geographical sense for Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State to be teams that potentially make the jump to the Big Ten. I could totally see it. Keno Bear says, I've been a Maize and Brew fan for a few years, but didn't know how to support you guys monetarily. You guys put out my favorite U of M content. If there's any other way to support you guys, let me know. Yeah, the best way you or anyone can support us is the memberships here on the channel are live now. So we appreciate that. And I can tell you right now what that's going to go to. That's not going into my pocket. That's going to pay for production costs for Steven. It's going to pay Steven. There's going to be kind of a little bit of a fun setup to put money on the side for resources for the website. I'm not getting a dime out of any of this. So yeah, that's how the best way for now to support us is through here and just continue to consume our content. So if you want to pay me directly, we can talk. I'm open for NIL deals too. Lazy Dog 081399. I say go after Baylor and Kansas for the media markets rather than the competition. Are Waco, Texas, and Lawrence, Kansas big media markets? I don't think they are. I don't think that really should weigh in anyone's decision now. Mike Nape says, I'm liking Harbaugh's attitude. I mean, what do people want him to say? I'm totally with you. That's exactly how I feel. Lewis, you're cracking me up in the comments here. Jake Ramen, I think I'm going to assume that's how it's said. If the Big Ten is able to get KU in as the 15th team, who would you like to see as the next best option to add? Do you think ND might finally come aboard? Yeah, I don't think Kansas joining the Big Ten makes Notre Dame go, oh man, we have to make this leap now. I think Notre Dame making a leap to any conference is going to be the person that puts the pitch for them together to. You know, they're proud of their values and what they stand for, and being kind of they've always liked to be this kind of traveling road show where we're going to be somewhere different every week, and it's not going to be the same every year. And they kind of, they struck that deal with the ACC, which is why I think they'll eventually just join the ACC. But I would love to see them. I think them as like the superpower of the Big Ten West, and then Ohio State. It's Ohio State. Maybe someone else coming out of the East. I think that would be a big deal. Or, hear me out, you go Big Ten North, Big Ten South, Ohio State, Notre Dame in the same division. Dependent Fanatic says Big 12 teams will have to relegate themselves to the Sun Belt or MAC, I think, if Oklahoma and Texas leave. No, they will be split up amongst, because if those two leave, there's only 8 schools left. So if 2 of them join the Big Ten and a couple more of them join the Pac-12, a couple more join if you're just going to dissolve the conference, Oklahoma State should probably be in the SEC too. You could make, I don't know. I think what we're probably heading towards is 4 16-team conferences. Rob Brannon, which would you rather have? Kansas State, above average football, above average basketball, or Kansas, terrible football, excellent basketball? Whew. I mean, that's a good question. I want to answer it, but I want to think about it for a second. The positive, and I think Jane Costin tweeted this out, the positive of Kansas joining the Big Ten for basketball would be every time that Michigan plays them, we get to watch the Trey Burke shot again, which would be awesome. It's kind of like water finding its level from every time the college football season opens, what's the video we always see? Michigan, Appalachian State. So the universe needs to balance out that energy. Kid Adorable. I just got here and you're pitting my alma maters against each other. How did this win the poll over Arizona or Iowa State? You know what? Full disclosure, I totally forgot about Arizona. But I think LSU would have won regardless. Michigan fans have like this little crush on LSU. And I mean, they've never played. I'd love to see it. So Michael Maddie, West Virginia and Cincy both geographically make sense, but this won't happen for a couple years because of contracts. Also, will the league still be called the Big Ten, since it never changed before? Well, the Big 12 is still called the Big 12, and it only has 10 teams. And the 10-team Big 12 is about to only have 8 teams. So, I don't know if that answers your question. I think they'll keep the names because college football loves nothing else if not its traditions. So. Lazy Dog is back to say Baylor's in the middle of Austin, Dallas, and Houston, which are huge media markets, while Kansas has that Missouri market. Yeah, I don't know. I think the days of going after media markets like it's the game Risk, I think we're kind of past that because, I mean, it doesn't make geographical sense for, I mean, really, SEC is called the Southeastern Conference. Texas and Oklahoma are the dead South. They're in the middle of the country. Notre Dame is in the Atlantic Coast Conference, despite being closest to the Great Lakes in the Big Ten. So I just think you go after the biggest names you can, and eventually it's gonna. We're probably heading for. It won't be quite like the NFL, like 2 conferences, but it will be NFL times 2. You probably have like 64 teams split among 4 power conferences. So Kid Adorable says Kansas State isn't AAU, neither is West Virginia. I assume we're ignoring that hurdle in our hypotheticals though. No, I don't hate either of those additions. I mean, there's not, unless you're poaching schools from, established schools from conferences. I don't think there's a lot of logical fits that there could be, which is going to make the next couple years super interesting. Because I think this Texas and Oklahoma thing, it seems like it's going to happen. Maybe not in time for next year's football season, but probably by 2023. I don't think they're going to wait out this 2025 thing. All right, Lewis, I love you. I think we want to turn the content back to maybe telling people to like the channel and subscribe to the channel. I think we've made our point on the other stuff there. Shane C. says, realism aside, who are the 2 teams you'd like to join the Big Ten? Texas and Oklahoma? No, I'm kidding. There was a time when I would play the NCAA video game, and you could do the custom conference thing. I would throw them into. What I did was boot Rutgers to the MAC, and I would bring in Notre Dame. I would bring in Texas and Oklahoma, and that was my Big Ten. So all realistic scenarios aside, I think I would still do that. G. Soper, do you think Texas A&M would leave the SEC? They are not huge fans of Texas following them in. Maybe the Big Ten could promise not to take another Texas school. I mean, if Texas A&M leaves the SEC, that's stupid as hell because their TV contract is about to be absolutely absurd. But in a scenario, putting all those scenarios aside, if Texas A&M was available, yeah, I'd make the phone call. Crispy beats. I like this. This is a crispy beat right here. Forget geography. We need to go after USC and Oregon. Love it. Why not? You want to get really saucy here? Take the best teams from the Big Ten and the Pac-12. Best, whatever, 7 teams. Pac-12 division, Big Ten division, Rose Bowl for a conference title game. Logan Evans, shout out to Michigan hockey. Could break records by having 3 players drafted to the NHL in the first round. Possibly even hit 4. Yeah, that's a big deal. This is a big night for Michigan hockey. Owen Power's going to be the #1 overall pick. Seems that way anyways. Things could always be unpredictable. Plus, there has been the talk that Power would return to school next year, which is a big deal. Yeah, we will, I don't know video-wise. We're probably not going to be able to do much video-wise by way of Michigan hockey. But looking to definitely improve our hockey coverage on the site ahead of this year. Rob Brandon brings up a good point here. What does ND do with their exclusive NBC contract if they join a conference they don't like to share? And that's probably why they'll hold out for a while. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the answer to all of your questions is because of money. Why would someone do this? Why would they do this? Money. Because now that players can profit off their likenesses, schools are going to want an even bigger piece of the pie, so to speak. Malachi says, Michigan had all that talent in hockey, and what did we do last year? I get it. It's frustrating, but it was also a team heavy with freshmen. Shane C., do you think Western Michigan is going to be a rough opener for us? It certainly was in the streaming series. I'm not so sure. I think Michigan... I think the last spread I saw for that was 14.5. I think Michigan will probably cover that. Yes, the Michigan hockey season did end due to COVID. That was unfortunate. But I think the point was that they it was an up and down team throughout the year. But yes, it did end due to COVID, which was brutal. I was really looking forward to seeing how those guys would be able to perform, on the big stage.
That makes it 2nd and 10. Watch 18. 18's the mic.
That's a gain of 13 on the play.
Malachi, so we should expect the basketball season to go like hockey? I hope not. No, basketball's a different sport. I mean, talented basketball players shine at every single level. Hockey, there's a lot more variables involved. There we go. Michigan takes the lead here in the Citrus Bowl. Michael Maddie says, I'm surprised Oklahoma and Texas want to join the SEC with a 12-team playoff coming with the auto bids available. Going to be a lot tougher than before. That was my dog yawning. It's because of money. It's because of money. I mean, and they think, yeah, we could go 9-3 and probably still make the playoff because we're in the SEC and we're going to make a lot more money because of it. So that's what it comes down to. Like Nate, Michigan never seems to have a wide receiver coach, and on that note, why didn't they keep Bellamy at that spot? Well, they had to shift some stuff around. I think Harbaugh just wanted to add the best assistant he possibly could and decided to bring in Matt Weiss, and that shifted Bellamy over to the other side of the ball. I think that's how it played out. Josh Gaddis coaches the wide receivers right now. So, it's not his official title, but he does coach the wide receivers.
That makes it 2nd and 6.
Mike 12.
Donovan Jeter.
That's a loss of 4 yards on the play. That'll make it 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Sam Stamos says Jim McElwain was a wide receiver coach, and they did well with him, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, he was way overqualified for that job, and I don't think it's any coincidence. That's probably the biggest leap in development we've seen the wide receiver room take under Harbaugh. Chesson and Darboh were good, but I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones started to learn how to land with his feet, Nico obviously took a step forward. I thought that Tariq Black would take a step forward, but the guy just could not stay healthy.
That's good for a gain of 7 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 3.
Someone on Twitter said that if the season played out like the one below, or like the simulation has, that you could make an argument it's Harbaugh's best season. I mean, I think the best season was still probably 2016 and 20. I mean, To be frank with you, the most impressive season he's had in terms of squeezing every drop out of the roster was that 2015 season. But it's hard to argue that. If you beat Ohio State. Now, it's funny to say that in a season that would include losses to Indiana, Nebraska, Washington. Who was the fourth one? Oh, Wisconsin.
Man left, man left. Pull down, pull down. Mike 18, Mike 18. Go.
G. Soper, if you had to predict not who you want, but who the next two teams would be in the Big Ten, who would it be? That's an excellent question. Here's an outside-the-box answer for you. Nebraska wants out. Let's just say Nebraska. I don't think this will happen, but this is the answer I'm getting. Nebraska wants into the SEC. So basically, Michigan and the Big Ten and SEC basically trade Missouri and Nebraska, and then add Iowa State and Kansas. That seems like something realistic that could happen. Crispy Beats, Harbaugh has me worried already this year after listening to how much he repeatedly mentioned the run game and then eventually mentioned the pass game. Makes me think it's more speed in a phone booth and not speed in space. I mean, listen, guys. That running back room is the most talented position group they have on this roster. And if this team is going to be good at all, they're going to have to run the football and do it well. Because I think this defense will struggle at times. I don't think they'll be terrible. I think they'll struggle. But Hassan Haskins, and even we're guilty of it here. We don't appreciate him here. We replaced him with Blake Corum, but that guy's a lead running back. And Blake Corum is good. And Donovan Edwards is going to be a star. So, you know, the wide, you can still win running the football, but you just have to, there has to be some threat of the pass. And your quarterback play has to lift you there too. So, we'll see what happens there. It's a big year for these wide receivers. Shane C says, in the Gaddis offense, it seems like most receivers are getting thrown to and have other receivers around them. Is it an aspect of downfield blocking, or do we not space receivers out enough? Or am I crazy? Yeah, there have been some really bad play designs. There's no cutting around that. You know, when a play ends, there shouldn't be three wide receivers within like 5 yards of each other. That can't happen. So, yeah, I'm not totally. Now it's crazy because when this offense works, it's worked awesome, and it's been the exact change you've needed to make when they're able to attack the edges. And you know, speed and space isn't running the air raid and scoring 50 points a game. Speed and space is getting the ball in the hands of your playmakers with nothing but green grass in front of them, getting them to the edge, getting them outside the hash marks. They haven't done a good enough job of that, but when they have, it's looked really good. So, the receivers have to know what routes they're running too. That's been a problem as well. Chris Bray, will Michigan running back get to 800 yards this season? Yes, I think that Hassan Haskins will. You might have two guys that get there. I need to plug in here before the stream goes to hell. Yeah, interesting conversation going on in the chat about how long the offseason was. This season will ultimately tell the story of if this will be the case or not. And I'm certainly not advocating for this because I was pretty outspoken about the fact that I thought Jim Harbaugh probably could have been let go after last year, and I'll stick by that. But he wasn't, and he's here. But it's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, that was such a weird college football season with a predictable ending. I mean, Penn State started 0-5. There were other schools that struggled that should have been good. Part of me does wonder if it just did last year just kind of become a glorified exhibition season simply to keep the guys on the field. Can you imagine if they didn't play football for a year? That's crazy. Corey Boyer asks, what wide receiver do you trust the most on this year's team? Ronnie Bell. I mean, that's the easy one. That's Mr. Reliable. Ronnie Bell is the guy. All right, big drive there by LSU to take the lead. A reminder, all of our socials are down in the description below. Please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Consider being one of our subscriber tiers. We would love to get you in on that. Keno Bear was here. Logan Evans was here. Those guys have jumped on. So consider it. Another thing that people sometimes forget too, and I get it's because it happened in a loss, but when we talk about the talent gap and how player development has gone and how well coached this team is or isn't, we're like 18 months removed, 17 months removed, whatever it is, from this team going toe-to-toe with Alabama for 3 quarters. And that one got away with them late. From them late. But it lends credence to me that, I'm not saying that Michigan's on Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson level, but Michigan's biggest hurdle is Michigan and staying out of their own way. And I think that's, when we talk about culture change, because that was the buzzword of yesterday at Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis. Everyone talked about the culture. The culture. Culture's different. Change the culture. Those self-inflicted mistakes and the ability to move on from them, that's where I see if there's a culture change or not. Of toughness. Having fun playing football. This team hasn't had fun playing football since before the 2018 Ohio State game. Stamos, Hoke was talking about changing the culture. Again, all that culture talk, it's all fine and good until you get punched in the mouth. Do you get up off the mat? Aiden Hutchinson, who made a big deal about how the culture has changed this offseason. After they beat Minnesota last year, there was talk about how the culture has changed. There was talk before the 2020 season that, the culture was going to change because of how 2019 went. The fact of the matter was, like, Michigan got punched in the mouth by its rival in week 2 last year and never got up off the mat. So, am I putting stock into that? No. But I do feel like they are too competently coached to just tank this year. Maybe that still means they only go 7-5, which isn't good enough. I mean, less than 8, anything less than 8 wins is not good enough this year. But I don't think they're going to embarrass themselves.
That'll bring up 2nd and 3.
Watch 18, 18 for Mike. Come on out here, come get some.
That's the tackle. Gain of 7 on the play. First down.
Check, tight right, tight right, tight right.
All right. Are our guys going to make this comeback or what? Big first down there.
With the tackle. That's good for a gain of 12 yards. That makes it 1st and 10.
Watch 18, 18 for Mike. Let's go, tight end, let's go right here now. 225.
Makes the tackle. Called a gain of 9 yards. That brings up 2nd and 1.
Roger, Roger. Mike 18, Mike 18.
Mike Nape. Michigan comes off as entitled. They think they'll win if they get off the bus, then the opposite with Ohio State. It's like they are scared to get off the bus. There is an entitlement thing there because of their history, because of the tradition. I think that has been an attitude that's permeated throughout the program. I don't think anyone can deny that. And there's too much focus on the past. And even now, knowing what we do now about some of the things that may have gone on, Michigan needs to focus on its future, not honoring the past. Honor yourselves now. Michael DeVries, I see them going 8-4, losses to Ohio State, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Penn State. Sorry, guys, I can't call them Ohio. I'm a MAC guy. I don't do that. I could see it. Corey Boyer, how do you think the corners will hold up now that it's not man-to-man all the time? I'm not crazy about the requisite athleticism they have at corner. Jamon Green is locked into one of those spots. Vincent Gray and DJ Turner are battling it out for that second cornerback job. Jamon Green, I think, a guy that really took a step forward as the year went on last year. Oh! Wide open! The back of the end zone. What a play. I'm not crazy about Michigan's back seven this year. Well, it wouldn't be this series if the game didn't glitch out towards the end. All right. Not crazy about Michigan's back seven. Or back 8, I guess, technically. Yeah, you can't lose to Indiana again this year, only because if you lose twice in a row to Indiana, you've been passed. You've been passed by them as a program in kind of the Big Ten East pecking order, in my opinion. Like, if you lose, you can write that off if you are able to get back on track this year as, okay, last year was a fluke. Last year was the outlier. But if you lose to them twice in a row after beating them for, 26 straight years, that might be the most frustrating loss of the season. Blake Gober calling his shot here. I think Michigan goes 11-1 with our only loss being at Wisconsin. Yes, it is a pipe dream, but I think we're going to shock the world. Whew. All right. It's not over yet. Jimmy Whitner, if this season went exactly like this simulation series has, would you bring back Harbaugh? Assuming they hold on to this game. If they hold on to this game. I'll say it one more time. If they hold on to this game, and the season plays out like this, where, you know, and remember, things are going to be toxic if they start the season 3-3. It's going to get really bad. If he steers them out of that and they beat Ohio State, they win the bowl game, they win at Penn State, yeah, you have to bring him. I mean, that would be probably the most impressive coaching job, not only at Michigan, but maybe of his career when you consider what's on the line. So I would.
Here we go. Green 90. Green.
The pass falls incomplete. Number 4, the intended receiver on the play. That makes it
Gee, Soper, not that it makes a difference on the field, but do we wear all the uniform combinations that the recruits have been sporting? Really like the blue pants to be mixed in along with the maize pants coming back. I have been told that everything is in play as a possibility. There's someone named Kayshawn Booty. I'm just gonna call him Booty. Okay, this game's not over yet. Yeah, it's all in play, and I'm here for it. I like the all blue look. Oh, could have sealed the game there, DJ Turner. We just talked about him. Hold on just a second. Hey, can I call you back in a few? All right, bye. Busy man, what can I say? Oh, that's heartbreaking. Oh my God. Well, that sucks. I still think that I would bring back virtual Harbaugh, but who's to say? I mean, the administration has a tough call on its hands. Three timeouts, 16 seconds to go. Is there going to be some magic here? Logan Evans is very sad, and so am I. Timeout. Golden Fitness, your opinion is not meaningless. He's high on Cade. He could be good. Timeout. All right, we're almost at midfield here. Oh. 4 seconds to go. 3rd and 1. All right. Need a miracle. There is no miracle. That is it for Michigan's season. They lose the bowl game to LSU, 24-21. Entertaining game. Just couldn't make enough plays. Michigan finishes this season 8-5. I think a lot of people would probably take that. That hurts, especially, you know, here's my guarantee. In real life, if they beat Ohio State, they'll win their bowl game. Unless they wind up in the playoffs somehow, or, you know, we'll see. I don't know. But 8-5, that is the record. The administration has a very difficult choice to make about its head coach. Will it be me moving forward? Does Jim Harbaugh retire and pass the baton? Who's to say? Michigan finishes the year 8-5. Considering they started 3-3. You can't hate that. Logan Evans, I know you said you were going to take control for another season. Is this going to be the 22-23 season, or can we squeeze in a game versus Notre Dame? I'll tell you what. I mean, if we move forward in this series, I mean, it's a suspension of reality from there, so we could do whatever we want to, honestly. But I've had a lot of fun doing this. We're going to do one last check of the stats. J.J. McCarthy, 21 of 30. I have to go back and look, but I think maybe J.J. only threw a pick or two, and we replaced him halfway through the year, so good performance on his part. Yeah, that was difficult. Too many sacks. All that, whatever. You guys don't care. People are dropping off the stream. That's the season. I don't know where we go from here. We'll see. There's a world of possibilities available to us. But I've had a lot of fun doing this. It's been, for being something that was accused early on of being an affront to the state of journalism and the industry, I've had a good time doing this, and I've had a good time chatting with you guys. I hope you'll stick around. MaizeandBrew.com. All of the socials, pertinent information is in the description below. Before you get out of here, throw a like on the video. Subscribe to our channel. Join our Discord. I want to keep engaging with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I like talking football and talking shop, so we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for your support. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Anthony T. Broom. We'll see what happens. I don't know if this series is done or yet. We'll figure out where we go from here. But thank you guys. It's been a lot of fun over the last month or so. So it feels like the last day of school. But here we are. We move on to preseason football coverage.